As you can see by my team, we unlocked 99 Jose Bautista. I went through it on the video that I posted yesterday, or that I recorded 10 minutes ago. But today we're going to be going over, each individual card series, and I'm going to be walking through how I got Jose Bautista, my tips of advice on getting specific vouchers. So let's get into it. One thing I want to say is take these prices with a grain of salt because I'm recording this Sunday night. So prices might change depending on how the market moves. It typically is like skyrocketed after the collection and then it goes down a little, in the following days, but take it with a grain of salt. Obviously these three cards are phenomenal and there are a lot of vouchers. There's a lot of stuff that you need. First of all, in all honesty, like the Home Run Derby, the draft, and the All-Star game. Honestly, the All-Star game one is pretty easy. You don't need any of the 98s, and you can skip 2 of the 97s from the pack, assuming you do all the offline content. That's pretty cheap. I mean, you're only buying, like 8 96s, and, that's like 40K, and then another like 30K. It's like pretty cheap if you complete Team Affinity and you have all the offline guys. For the draft content, this is also not terrible, but the Home Run Derby is where it gets expensive because you need all these guys and they're expensive and you can only get like 2 of them for free. So Home Run Derby is probably the hardest out of the All-Star game content, but Prime did not have another voucher. It was just Lance Berkman. I thought they were going to add to it, but they didn't. This is very easy to get as well. I mean, these guys are all quick sell and the highest overall cards are very cheap. Lance Berkman is pretty easy. And if my face cam's lagging, I apologize. I don't know why. I'm trying to figure it out. But sorry if my face cam's lagging. But anyway, the one that I ended up skipping was the last ride, and that was because not because you need every single card. I had every single card. I just did not want to lock in this Nolan Ryan when he's going for 100,000 stubs. Oh my goodness, he was 25. I mean, all these guys are around like 25K from that pack. There was no way in hell I was going to lock in this 85 Nolan Ryan for 100,000 stubs when I could sell him for 100,000 stubs and then wait till they do a flash sale, which I'm assuming is going to happen sometime in the near future. Because there's no way they let these cards be this expensive and then just buy them back for the future collections. One thing I will say, they're definitely going to add more last ride cards because it says Jose Bautista last ride voucher. If this was a player, then maybe it would be different and I would hold on to him. But since it says Jose Bautista voucher and we're going to get more collections, they're definitely going to add more last ride cards, like for sure. But this is the one I skipped, and I think everyone should skip. Even if you have the Nolan Ryan card, sell him for that value. But if they do a flash sale, then this is an easy voucher that you should do. These other vouchers that have players, I mean, all these prices are pretty cheap. Summer, this one was pretty simple. Pipeline Past, I mean, you do need either Schwarber. Okay, these guys are going back up now that the collection is here. But if you've been keeping up with content, you should probably have the Summer and the Pipeline Pass done by now. Color Storm, these are all offline grindable cards. Moonshot, this has been out for forever. So it just kind of gets to a point where you're just kind of behind if you don't have Moonshot done. And it's not the end of the world if you don't have Ted Williams before this too. Like, I'm not trying to pressure you into doing all these. I'm just sort of giving my thoughts. Same with Egg Hunt, the Negro Leagues, New Threads, Pipeline, Spring Breakout, that's all free cards. But all of these guys, I mean, I would say like 80 to 90% of players have Pipeline, New Threads, Negro Leagues, Egg Hunt, Moonshot. And then I'd say like 60 to 70 are probably with Pipeline and Summer. Let me go through all the vouchers now. You're also probably wondering how I have 900K. I sold literally, not everyone, but almost everyone that I didn't use for collection vouchers, especially in Spotlight and in All-Star. Those made me so many stubs. But those were guys that I bought to prepare for the collection in case I needed them. And if I didn't need them, they'd go up in price and it would be a sick investment. So that's what I did for that. I just went to Chase Utley just to show you how many stubs I have. So I'm going to be pouring all those into the roster update, which I already have a lot into, but might as well add more. Anyway, looking at awards, this one was pretty easy. I got this perfect. I thought that we were going to need to skip. I thought that it was going to be, how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 20 cards. You can skip 5. I thought we had to skip 4 in my prediction. Wait, no. Yeah, because I didn't lock in Burns. Okay. So you needed to skip 5. And these guys are all, pretty. Even if you don't have Roger Clemens, I mean, if you're going for Bautista, you should probably have Scott Rowland by now. Again, if you don't have him yet, it's not the end of the world. I'm just speaking conceptually. But assuming that even if you don't have Roger Clemens, you can swap him out for probably like Corbin Burns, who's only around 25K, or Joe Mauer, who's around 30K. But, assuming that you have Clemens done, these guys are all pretty simple. I mean, Simmons comes with Clemens because he doesn't, but he's the NL Central. Jonah Heim is a rewind card. I mean, these guys are all much more expensive now. But if you got all these guys, like they were all a quick sell. So when I told you guys to prepare and I made that video that you guys loved, you didn't prepare. That's what happens. But ultimately, Heim, Eckersley, LeMahieu, Doyle, who's still at quick sell, Rice, Happ, and Stroman. So all 7 of those guys were at quick sell a couple days ago. Warren Spahn is a decently, probably one of the most expensive headliners, but he's not too expensive. He's around 30K. And then the rest of the guys were multiplayer program guys who were cheap. The new Seager from the XP Reward Path, and then the Classe from the previous Reward Path. Moving on to Milestone, I got this perfect. I thought that we would skip 2. These guys are mostly non-sellable cards, like Zimmerman, Dunn, Soriano he was quick. That's the thing. I mean, all these guys were quick sell. Sizemore was right at quick sell. Now he's up to 18K. Robert, he's quick sell. He's an offline card. He's an offline card. He's an offline card. So, I mean, as long as you prepared and you bought these guys at quick sell, this should have been easy. Jolt voucher is literally, it's just all offline content, so nothing to say there. Contributor, this one, I ended up adding Ibanez, of course, because he was a free card from the new XP Reward Path Cornerstones. And then I ended up going with Brandon Lau instead of Willie Stargell. I mean, they're both literally the same thing. They're both headliners that are 89 or 90 overall. I just went with the lower overall, and then I sold Stargell. Definitely didn't go with Frank Thomas because, those are the current World Series awards. They're going to crash literally in like a week not even a week, with the new multiplayer program. I did a similar thing on second half, which we'll get into. But yeah, contributor, as long as you have a lot of these live series collection guys done, contributor is pretty simple. 20th anniversary, put it in the same conversation as all these other, like Moonshot, Egg Hunt, New Threads, Pipeline, Negro League, Spring Breakout, especially if you guys got this done when they had the flash sale or when they had the pack and the Conquest map. But they're actually not that expensive compared to previous collections because most people just have this done. But let's go to Rookie. Rookie was easy. All you had to do was lock in 2 more non-sellable cards. If you don't have the Dodgers collection, which is very common because you need Shohei, you just need this Devin Williams, who's 10K. So pretty simple for Rookie. Moving on to Breakout, you needed to add 1 more. I ended up adding Helsley. He was pretty much quick sell. Now he's up to 20K because he was a rewind guy. Hank Greenberg I sold because I can just tell these guys are going to be in a flash sale. And if they're not, then whatever, I'll have to buy them back. But ultimately, I would much rather lock in Helsley than Greenberg, because these guys are not worth that many stubs from that pre-order pack. Moving on to All-Star. All-Star was much easier than I thought again. I ended up locking in these 3 bosses that I already had locked in for the voucher. The free Dick Allen, or not free, I mean, he's basically free. I ended up locking in Pedro, who was 5K. He's still 5K. Who else did I lock in? I had Alvarez and I sold him. Same with Reynolds. I'm not gonna sell maybe I should because they're gonna come back down in price. So let me sell Andre Dawson mid video because the rewind guys are gonna come back down in price eventually. But yeah, I didn't even have to lock in him. There were some more all-stars down here from Cornerstone. There were some Cornerstone guys. Oliva. Alex Gordon. Yeah, so All-Star was actually like pretty simple. I didn't have to lock in anyone expensive. I think the only card that was sellable that I locked in was Pedro. Veteran is pretty simple. Just add one non-sellable card, being that Yu Darvish. I'm just gonna speed this up because I'm, already at 10 minutes. Second half, this one is pretty difficult. This one is probably one of the most difficult ones. I did the moments in the middle of my recording, so I didn't have to lock in two guys that were expensive. So I got this free CC and the free Dave Parker, but I had to lock in Randy Johnson. I had to lock in Trey Turner, and I locked in those guys instead of Tim Raines because he's going to crash down to quick sell in like 3 days in the new program. So I thought conceptually I'd rather lock in guys who are going to stay expensive versus a guy who's going to crash in price and I can get him at quick sell for the next collection. Moving on to standout, this one was fairly simple as well. I locked in a lot of quick sell guys. There was no one here that I was upset that I had to lock in. Lighter, he was quick sell. He's still close to quick sell. Same with Springer. Same with Lee Smith. He is quick sell. And then Billy Wagner, that's literally just a freebie. You only need one voucher for that card. Yu Darvish is free. And then I locked in Rengifo. I probably maybe could have. No. Okay. But yeah, I mean, the guys I locked in were dirt cheap. I'm going to speed run through a couple of these postseason. Pretty easy. Locked in a couple free ones, being the Jose Bautista and the Juan Marichal. Spotlight, this one is pretty difficult. I ended up locking in the July cards because I wanted, because I'm already going to lock these guys in for the collection, so I might as well do it for this instead of locking in older guys who I already have the collections done. So I sold these guys while they're really high in price. I bought them when they were quick sell. You just have to think logically when it comes to the market. And that's what I ended up doing for Spotlight. So there were a couple down there that I sold, but the rest of them, this Spotlight is probably the hardest voucher, and I think most people are going to be skipping once this Nolan Ryan comes down in price from a flash sale. But yeah, Spotlight's really hard, but then Cornerstone, these are all free cards. And then Tops Now is also pretty hard because most of these guys are just on the market. I should probably sell these, or no, they're quick sell. But Tops Now, I mean, you just have to buy the cards and lock them in. So all in all, it is so worth this 99 Jose Bautista. I cannot wait to use this card. He is amazing. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys are new here, follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. But most importantly, make sure to subscribe in here on YouTube. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.